Green Arrow. Actually, I have one other thing to state. In case you don't know, there will be honorary citizens made of Metropolis, and fans have the opportunity to purchase certificates, and those ceremonies will be with Mayor McDaniel 1:30 tomorrow and Sunday, correct? So we want to encourage folks to come out for that. We have another question. Yes?
A question for Justin.
Yeah.
Justin, how did it feel when you found out you received a part of the Green Arrow on Smallville? And how did you, where were you when you heard about it?
I was at Hooters. I'm not a liar. I was. I was with a friend of mine. I was with a friend of mine, Mike Ward, and we were sitting there, and it was so funny as we were talking about. I was about ready to go to Australia to do this show, this different show, and I was trying to decide whether or not I wanted to do it, and you know, I was. You know, at the time I didn't have like, you know, countless offers and, you know, pick the best one. It was like, take what you get. So I'm telling him all the things about Australia, and I think it could work, and I think it might be fun to do this series. And then I get a phone call, literally when we were sitting there at Hooters talking about this. And you guys ever been to Hooters? It's all right.
Wings are good.
Yeah, the wings are good. But anyway, so we're sitting there, we're talking about that, and the phone rings, and it's at the time the producers of Smallville, the creators, Al Goff and Miles Miller. It's actually Al on the phone, and he's like, "What's this I hear about you going to Australia?" He starts yelling at me on the phone, and he's like, "Don't go to Australia!" And we went back and forth, and it was like the greatest thing for me because I have a family, and I have a daughter and a wife, and they weren't at Hooters with me, but I do have them. And so it was good for me. I knew that I didn't have to go to Australia. And then I found out they shoot the show in Canada, and I was like, well, it's kind of the same thing. So, but it was great, you know, to find out something like that. I mean, you know, for me, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I did a pilot about Aquaman.
Yeah.
Right, and so that to me was a thrill. I was like, I can't believe I get to play a superhero, and then that went away, and then this came, and so yeah, you know. For me to play a character, you know, any kind of superhero character, it's like, you know, I think every boy's dream, every man's, right? Mm-hmm. It's amazing.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
Well, this will be for both of you guys then, as long as you did seem to enjoy heroes when you were growing up. And don't feel obligated to go with the obvious choice here, but who were your heroes growing up? I mean, and do you collect anything, or did you? I mean, obviously everybody here, the fans here, they collect the lunchboxes and the pins and all that sort of stuff. Do you guys have any collections at home?
I'm a huge comic collector.
Oh.
I have close to 20,000 books.
Wow.
Oh, it's crazy. I mean, it's crazy. I built a whole wall unit. You know, it's like a beautiful wall unit, big 50-inch TV, and I got the comics all over. And I just finished cataloging them. And I was a crazy. You know, if you collected comics as a kid, you were the DC or Marvel. If you were for real, DC or Marvel, win both. One or the other. Okay, it's newfangled. I like it all. We had a side, and I was a Marvel guy. So of course, Silver Surfer, Fantastic Four, the Black Panther. Go figure. Those were I love them. But you know, of course, the DC universe was the first, almost the first, and true universe. And Superman was certainly on the top of my list, and Batman was probably my favorite DC character because he was, any of us could have been Batman, you know, if we had the right upbringing and will and desire, and he had no superpowers. He just was a man using his wits and his own personal training. And so I really kind of related to that. But yeah, man, I'm a crazy comic book collector, so to do John Jones is like, I went in the audition knowing I knew more about John Jones than any of them cats. So I had a big leg up there, but yeah, I do collect comics.
Since you said Batman was one of your favorites, Superman wants to talk to you after the contest.
Oh, they're buddies. It's all right. It's all love.
I have a question for Ms. Washburn. How was it for you doing the differences between doing movies and then doing television? How was it for you as far as taking it to the small screen?
Well, the difference in doing a feature film and a TV show pretty much is the time. Because like when you're in a feature, you can be on it for 3 months. When I did Old Yeller, we were filming for 3 months. When I did Lone Ranger, which was the feature film at Warner Brothers, that was 3 months. Same with Shane. And, you know, so you kind of, it sounds corny, but you really do kind of become a family. And if you're on a series, the same thing happens. But when you're on a TV show, typically, you know, you're there for maybe 2 or 3 days, and so you don't have that same camaraderie. You make friends, and it's all wonderful, but it doesn't last as long. So the features, it's more like a family.
I have a question for Ms. Washburn as well. I noticed on your postcard for your book that's going to be out in a couple of weeks. What's the name of it, the title again?
Real Tears.
Real Tears.
But it's spelled R-E-E-L.
Okay, like the movie Real.
film.
Okay. My question, I noticed it said on there, it's like you were friends with like Lou Costello. I mean, do you
Well,
know anything?
I did a Wagon Train.
Uh-huh.
I did 3 episodes of Wagon Train, but the one I did was with Lou Costello, and it was the only dramatic role that he ever did. And he was wonderful, and I was thrilled. I think I was about 12.
Uh-huh.
And I was a big Abbott and Costello fan, so when I knew that I was going to work with Lou Costello, that was a huge thing for me. And he was as nice as he could be. And he was hilarious because when he did Abbott and Costello, he really had free reign. You know, he could ad-lib. And they wanted him to stick to the script, and he had a really hard time memorizing his dialogue. So every time he would go up on his lines, and he would just stop and he'd look right into the camera and he'd go, "So, how are you?" And he would do that every time. He was adorable. I enjoyed that.
Yes.
Casey Bewley with Post Time Productions. Mr. Morris, I'm not sure what you can tell, but for season 9 of Smallville, are we going to see more of Martian Manhunter? And like, if so, like, see more of his powers? Because
I hope so.
Yeah, as you know, he has so much more powers than what we've seen in the past. So, like, just what you can tell us would be great.
Well, I mean, you know, I don't know. They don't. I'm not privy to that. One of the reasons is they may not know. The other is that they don't want to tell me because I'm a fan. I want you to know, you know. So I'm gonna spill the beans. I mean, it's pretty smart that they don't tell me. But you know, I'm hoping that they use John more. I really like the way they developed in this particular season. I thought they grounded him a little bit more. I mean, losing his powers was difficult as the actor to read, but as the character, it gave him another dimension to play and brings another value to Clark that I don't think he would have been able to bring if he hadn't lost his powers, you know. So I think it makes him a much more vulnerable personage, and hopefully they'll expand on that. I mean, we had a great scene in the episode where I got shot, where we all were like, you know, we got each other's back, and we can't let what's happening with the police happen to us. And then they kind of dropped the ball on that. We didn't really pick that up. I'm hoping that they pick that thread up and they show us, you know, kind of watching each other's back and kind of giving each other, you know, a leg up and some support. Because I think, you know, Oliver definitely needs it. You know, he's a bit of a lone wolf, and you know, it must be difficult as that character to operate alone all the time. For John, he definitely needs support and could use the camaraderie of this kind of vague Justice League. And Clark absolutely needs it. You know what I mean? So I hope that they do what the fans want.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Corey Cooley, also with Post Time Productions. Mr. Hartley.
Yes.
When you found out at Hooters, Green Arrow, did you do any research?
Yeah.
Extensive research at all?
Yeah, well, you know, how do I start? Yeah, well, I did. It was quicker for me because I had done the Aquaman pilot. So, and for me, honest with you, I didn't collect comics. I had friends who collected comics. I collected baseball cards. And, I mean, that was my thing. It was like, you know, I was as dedicated to that as they were comics. I mean, I could read, you know, the back of every card. Ridiculous. I knew everything. But comics weren't my thing, so I didn't necessarily grow up with it. So I was kind of a novice when it came to, you know, all of them, really. And what I found out when I did the Aquaman pilot, really quickly, I found out, someone gave me a really good piece of advice. They said, you know, Justin, you're going to do a character where people are either going to love the way you did it or they're going to hate the way you did it. And there's no one's going to say, hey, he's all right. They're going to love it or they're going to hate it, because you're either going to get it right or you're not going to get it right. So I hit the books, and